Dr. Floyd Malveaux is a nationally recognized expert in the field of asthma and allergic diseases. His distinguished career is highlighted by nearly 6 decades at Howard University College of Medicine, where he led initiatives to address asthma morbidity among inner-city children. In 2005, he was appointed Dean Emeritus. Dr. Malveaux also has served in a leadership role at the Merck Childhood Asthma Network, Incorporated. He is the recipient of many professional awards, has a long history of community service, and has served since 1997 on Creighton's Board of Trustees.
I went to Creighton sight unseen. My parents didn't have the resources to travel me around the country and travel with me to look at schools and academic institutions. I found that Catholic education was good for me. It provided discipline and certainly strong academics.
Education, for sure, he's instilled the importance of that, how it can bring you very far. Obviously, it's a lesson I've taken seriously. I've done a PhD, and I feel like it has opened up those doors.
There was a huge emphasis on education, that was really the most important thing to achieve, and that really was the key to your success. And as long as you were doing your best, that's all that really mattered.
I think he knew from an early age what you could do, right? And so I think he came with a sense of that expectation and that sense of purpose, right? And so I don't know. I might have skated by a little bit more. Yeah. So it was a push, but it wasn't a shove. It was a push. It was, it was like, I know you can do this, right? And so let me see you do this.
When my sister and I got accepted into Harvard, we didn't really plan on going. We weren't really sure. We were a little scared about it. And it was my father who insisted, no, go visit the campus, go see if you like it. It was my father who asked for more financial aid when we realized, this huge economic burden. And it was also my father who sold his medical practice to pay for our college education so that we could go. It was always huge sacrifices that he was making.
As far as career goes, as you can tell, the apples fell a little far from the tree. So nobody went to medicine. He exposed us to medicine. We have a lawyer, a legal professor, we have a college professor, we have a journalist, so no doctors.
When you think about where he came from in Opelousas, Louisiana, a small rural town with one stop sign and a train going through the backyard, and really the humble beginnings and the drive and the desire that he had just as a little boy to do good and to do better for himself, his family, and the community. It's really what has driven him and catapulted him to various levels in his profession. His focus has not been himself. It really has been about uplifting other people, particularly people who come from very similar communities that he grew up in as a little boy, poor, underserved, and in desperate need of medical care, of attention.
I had experienced Dr. Malveaux in medical school as a student, but I didn't really get to meet him until 2005, when I was a part of a group at Merck that was looking at candidates to lead the newly formed Merck Childhood Asthma Network. We needed a leader, and we needed somebody who was either an allergist or a pulmonary physician who really was passionate about pediatric asthma, and that was Dr. Malveaux. I think what Dr. Malveaux was really hoping to do with the Merck Childhood Asthma Network was to show which interventions really make a difference. He was really after trying to figure out which ones would make a difference and which ones could then be scaled up and used around the country.
You can develop interventions, but if there is no policy to really implement those interventions, then they sit on the shelf as a part of your research program, and they're never really are implemented in communities.
I would just say that Dr. Malveaux left an indelible mark on the community that he lives in. He cares passionately about the health of this community and made sure that we tackled the biggest public health issues facing Howard County, Maryland. We are a community health foundation, and we've been in existence for 20 years, and Dr. Malveaux is essentially a board member for almost half that amount of time.
What I learned from my parents and my family in Louisiana was certainly enhanced and strengthened by the training that I got at Creighton, and saw others at Creighton, of course, who would go out in the community. They were given service. Creighton to this day, of course, is known for the service that it gives to the community.
He's a man of science, he's also a man of God, and I think that the combination of that together is a real credit to his service side. You know, he is very much a service-driven person, and that comes across in, not only do you see that in what he recommends on the science, but you also see how important it is to do these sort of things for the community that are going to have impact.
My father never forgot what it meant to live in a medically underserved community. He grew up in it, and he used his profession, his life, his personal life, his efforts, his talents to bring that to others, to bring medical services to others who need it.
I think for us growing up, Dad was very much the person who was encourage you to kind of be sort of whatever you wanted to be and to give it your all.
What it's like to have him as a father. Do I need to be sworn in? One year, I got a scholarship to go to a private school, and I went. Dad got up extra early every morning to drop me off at the bus stop. He'd have to drive me to the Columbia Mall and then drop me there. And I don't remember what time it was, but it was dark every morning. And he did it every morning. And as I got out of the car, the last thing he'd tell me is give him hell. And I remember that. And to this day, at age 48, when I get started in my day, I get ready, I get geared up, and I say, all right, ready to give him hell. And I got that from him.
You can always grow. You can always mature. We've grown closer, and as a family, as a father, daughter, and I've seen a beautiful, loving, tender side with my daughter, my 3-year-old, and it's one of those lessons that you learn, perhaps you learn late in life, that all of these different qualities can be inside one person.
My parents have been married for over 50 years now, and they love each other. They're devoted to each other, and I learned what devotion really means. You have an introvert, you have an extrovert. You have somebody who's the life of the party and someone who's more reserved, but they really make it work, and they complement each other. They're a great team.
My parents, they love to say, for life and eternity, that that's the commitment they've made to each other. And they joke about it all the time because my dad says, yeah, life, but eternity? Oh, that's a long time. But they've always joked about that because it is for them life and eternity. And that kind of love is really special to actually see that grow and develop. It's just wonderful to see him fight and to see him fight for us, for himself, for Mom. For every single day. I cherish every moment.
It's difficult for all of us, but for him, I think it would be particularly, hard. And he's just been so tender, so kind, and it's a side of him that I've loved I've loved seeing and appreciate, what he brings in that.
We're really proud of Dad. We're really proud, and I think it's such a great thing to have, to look back and have the privilege of looking at a life well lived. I think that's really a gift, and so we appreciate that recognition. Not everybody gets that, and it's really nice to step back and say, "Wow, look at what you did. That's awesome."
You picked a great person because he's so well-rounded, someone who, has that balance of career, of father, of caregiver, of husband, of community service, leader, and so forth. So I think him being so well-rounded as he is, that he made a good choice.
It was never about getting awards. It was always about doing the work and providing service to others and making your life be meaningful through your profession and also through your personal life.
Creighton gave me the knowledge, the opportunity, and really the motivation to go out and serve and to be of service to others. And so I'm very thankful, of course, for this recognition that they're giving me, but they made it possible.